Mileena is pulled into the events of Mortal Kombat 11 due to Kronika's timeline manipulation, despite previously ruling Outworld before being overthrown by Kotal Khan and ultimately executed by D'Vorah. In her arcade ending, she rises again in the altered timeline and reclaims power through brutal force, continuing her rivalry with Kitana and asserting dominance over Outworld. The ending reinforces her as a violent, unstable ruler who embodies chaos and bloodshed rather than stability or legitimacy.
After the Time Merger, a younger Nightwolf refused Kronika's offer and was banished to a void, where he joined Fujin and Shang Tsung. The trio warned Liu Kang that destroying Kronika's crown would doom the timeline, but were sent to the past anyway. Fighting through enemies like Garaz and Frost, Nightwolf even defeated his own revenant self in the Netherrealm. Despite distrust, he helped resurrect Sindel to stop Kronika's forces. In the final battle, Nightwolf fought Citrion and nearly sacrificed himself, but survived, only to be betrayed by Shang Tsung, who stole the crown and defeated him, leaving Nightwolf's fate unknown.
In Mortal Kombat 11, Kung Lao is thrown into a war across collapsing timelines when Kronika pulls warriors from the past into the present. Fighting beside Liu Kang and Raiden, he helps defend Earthrealm and Outworld from Shao Kahn's forces, while uncovering Kronika's plan to control time itself. Inside the Wuxi Dragon Gronu, Kung Lao battles revenant versions of himself in Liu Kang, defeats Jade and Scorpion, and even decapitates Geras, only to learn Kronika can reverse time and undo defeat itself. Later, he helps unite Outworld under Kitana after Shao Kahn cripples Kotal Khan. During the final assault on Kronika's Keep, Kung Lao fights alongside Earthrealm's last defenders, but in one altered timeline, his arrogance leads him into battle against Shao Kahn and Sindel, ending with him being thrown into the deadly Sea of Blood. Even in death, his revenant counterpart continues fighting in Kronika's endless war.
Collector is an Akhedaten enforcer who serves Shao Kahn, acting as a ruthless collector of taxes, tribute, and stolen goods across Outworld. In the events of Mortal Kombat 11, he is first seen imprisoned by Kotal Khan, but quickly escapes during the chaos caused by Shao Kahn's arrival through time, rejoining his master alongside allies like Baraka and Kano. Throughout the conflict over Outworld's throne, the Collector serves as a loyal but self-interested fighter, clashing with warriors such as Jade and Kitana while defending Shao Kahn's claim to power. In the aftermath events, he continues working under Shao Kahn's influence, briefly encountering Shang Tsung, Nightwolf, and Fujin before being defeated in battle once more. Kotal Khan struggles to unite Outworld while escaping the shadow of Shao Kahn's brutal legacy. After Kronika's timeline fractures bring a younger Shao Kahn into the present, Kotal is forced into a violent battle for his throne and barely survives thanks to Liu Kang and Raiden's intervention. Driven by hatred toward the Tarkatans, Kotal's obsession nearly costs him everything. His harsh actions push Jade away and ultimately lead to his capture by Shao Kahn. During the battle for the Colosseum, Shao Kahn cripples Kotal by breaking his back, but Kitana defeats the tyrant and unites Outworld's factions in a way Kotal never could. Realizing his failures, Kotal steps down as Khan and gives the throne to Kitana, believing she is the true leader Outworld needs.
In Mortal Kombat 11, Liu Kang's fate is torn apart by war, death, and time itself. After being corrupted by Shinnok's influence, he and Kitana fail to stop the destruction of the Bone Temple, only to be pulled into Kronika's scheme as she reshapes reality. A younger Liu Kang is pulled from the past and fights alongside Earthrealm's warriors, clashing with revenant versions of himself and Kung Lao, while battling through Kronika's forces to stop the theft of the Jinsei. Despite victories over powerful enemies like Geras and later Cetrion, Kronika continually resets time to maintain control. Everything escalates when Liu Kang is killed and fused with his revenant self by Raiden, transforming him into Fire God Liu Kang. With divine power and mastery over time, he defeats Kronika at the dawn of existence and is named Keeper of Time. In the aftermath, he rebuilds history into a new era, one shaped by his vision, but shadowed by the sacrifices it took to get there.
Scorpion's past self is pulled into the present by Kronika, tempted with the one thing he's always wanted, his family and clan restored. At first, he fights for her, clashing with Liu Kang and Kung Lao,
and escaping again and again with hellfire. Meanwhile, his future self, Hanzo Hasashi, teams up with Sub-Zero to stop the Cyber Lin Kuei and protect what remains of Earthrealm. But everything changes when Scorpion faces his older self. Hanzo reveals the truth. Kronika's promises are a lie, and her plan would revive the very forces that destroyed his family. When Hanzo is fatally poisoned, Scorpion turns on Kronika's allies, honoring his future self's final words, that the Shirai Ryu are defined by heart, not blood. Now redeemed, Scorpion joins Earthrealm's last stand. But as the final battle unfolds, he vanishes in the chaos of time, his fate left unknown.
Rain is an orphan who rose through the ranks of Edenia's army thanks to his tactical brilliance and ambition. His success eventually leads him to discover his true heritage as the illegitimate son of the god Argus, revealing his half-divine nature. Empowered by this truth, Rain embraces his godly lineage and fights to claim recognition and status within Edenia's divine hierarchy. John J. Rambo is a battle-hardened former United States Special Forces soldier whose experiences in the Vietnam War left him deeply scarred and emotionally troubled. Known for his aggressive nature and willingness to take on impossible missions alone, Rambo has built a reputation as one of the world's most dangerous warriors. In his appearance in the Mortal Kombat 11 universe, he reawakens his ruthless survival instincts and elite combat skills to face some of the deadliest fighters across realms. After Shinnok's defeat, Raiden is changed. Corrupted by war and convinced mercy has failed, he tortures and executes Shinnok, warning Earthrealm's enemies that he will strike first. But this act fractures time itself, drawing the attention of Kronika, the Keeper of Time. Years later, Raiden leads a brutal preemptive war against the Netherrealm, only to discover reality unraveling as past warriors reappear. Haunted by repeating visions of endless battles with Liu Kang, he realizes he's been trapped in a manipulated cycle. He removes Shinnok's amulet and rejects Kronika's influence. Kronika retaliates by capturing Liu Kang, forcing a final assault on her keep. In the chaos, Raiden helps transform Liu Kang into the Fire God, shifting the balance of fate. Together, they defeat Kronika, ending her control over time. Raiden becomes mortal, passing guardianship of Earthrealm to Liu Kang, but a new threat from beyond time is already waiting. Noob Saibot makes a chilling return decades after his supposed death, stepping out of the shadows to confront both his longtime rival Scorpion and his own brother Kuai Liang. Revealing that he survived thanks to Quan Chi's dark magic, Noob claims he's been promised an entire clan of shadow warriors by Kronika in her new era. After a brutal clash, he's forced to retreat, escaping alongside Frost and a damaged sector. But his mission isn't over. Tasked with guarding the Well of Souls on Shang Tsung's island, Noob unleashes shadow clones against Jax Briggs and Jaqui Briggs, only to be defeated again. Even later, when sent to stop Fujin and Shang Tsung, Noob Saibot falls once more, proving that while shadows never die, they don't always win either.
RoboCop's arrival begins with Kano opening a dimensional portal between realms, allowing the Black Dragon to flood Detroit with dangerous weapons and fuel rising crime. Refusing to let Kano corrupt his city, RoboCop tracks him across dimensions and enters the Mortal Kombat universe. Before becoming RoboCop, Alex Murphy was a loyal Detroit police officer, brutally murdered by a gang. Revived through OCP cybernetics, he returned as a heavily armed law enforcement machine built to protect the innocent at all costs. Armed with upgraded technology and relentless determination, RoboCop joins forces with Earthrealm's fighters to hunt down Kano and bring justice to a universe far deadlier than Detroit's streets.
Sonya Blade proves exactly why she's one of Earthrealm's toughest leaders during the events of Mortal Kombat 11. Leading a Special Forces strike team into the Netherrealm, Sonya makes the ultimate call, sacrificing herself after being trapped by Revenant Liu Kang, ensuring her team escapes and completes the mission. It's a moment that devastates both Johnny Cage and their daughter Cassie Cage. When time fractures under Kronika, A younger Sonya meets her future self's allies and learns she becomes a general and a mother. At first, she clashes with Cassie over her future death, but eventually understands the weight of that sacrifice. Captured by Kano, Sonya outsmarts him in a brutal standoff, killing his past self to erase him from existence entirely. By the end, she stands not just as a soldier, but as a hardened leader willing to do anything to protect her family and Earthrealm.
When Kronika shatters time to create a new era, past and present collide, and Shao Kahn storms back into Outworld like a force of nature. Emerging from a temporal sandstorm with allies like Baraka and Scarlet, he's furious to learn his empire has moved on without him. After clashing with Kotal Khan and nearly killing him, Shao Kahn joins Kronika, eager to reclaim his throne and crush Raiden once and for all. He rallies Outworld's armies, but everything unravels when his adopted daughter Kitana leads a rebellion. In a brutal final duel, she blinds and defeats him, ending his reign. Even after being restored by Sindel, Shao Kahn's comeback is short-lived. He's ultimately betrayed and killed by Shang Tsung, who steals his soul to claim ultimate power.
Shang Tsung pulls off one of the most brutal betrayals in Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath. After warning Fire God Liu Kang that the hourglass can't be controlled with Kronika's crown, Shang Tsung convinces Liu Kang to send him, Fujin, and Nightwolf back in time to retrieve it. Along the way, they battle through Outworld, Netherrealm, and even revive Sindel, who secretly sides with Shang Tsung. But it's all a setup. Once they reach the hourglass, Shang Tsung reveals his true plan, betraying everyone. He absorbs the souls of Shao Kahn, Sindel, and even Kronika herself, becoming powerful enough to rival a god. Just as he's about to reshape time, Liu Kang returns, revealing he allowed everything to happen just to reclaim the crown. Their final battle tears reality apart, and depending on who wins, either Shang Tsung or Liu Kang creates a brand new timeline.
Shiva remained neutral during the conflict between Kotal Khan and Shao Kahn, refusing to support either ruler until she was convinced that Outworld's major factions were united. After Kitana secured the allegiance of Baraka and the Tarkatans, Shiva led the Shokan in support of Kitana's campaign, helping rescue Kotal and overthrow Shao Kahn. Later, during the events of Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath, Shiva aided Fujin, Nightwolf, and Shang Tsung in their mission to revive Sindel, only to discover Sindel's betrayal. Despite trying to stop her, Shiva was defeated, and Sindel manipulated the Shokan into turning against Kitana and siding with her and Shao Kahn.
Scarlet returns during Kronika's timeline collapse as one of Shao Kahn's most loyal and deadly servants. Pulled from the past alongside Shao Kahn and his forces, the Blood Mage immediately joins the battle for control of Outworld. Using her mastery of blood magic, Scarlet drags Kotal Khan into the Colosseum catacombs and nearly overwhelms him before escaping. Later, at the Tarkatan war camp, she attempts to drain Jade's blood, calling Edenian blood a rare delicacy. But when Kitana infiltrates the camp with Liu Kang and Kung Lao, Scarlet uncovers the deception and attacks. Despite her brutal powers and obsession with blood magic, Scarlet is ultimately defeated by Kitana. After her final loss, she mysteriously disappears, leaving her fate unknown when Kronika rewinds time once again.
Al Simmons was once the U.S. government's deadliest soldier until his own team betrayed and executed him. But death wasn't the end. He made a dark deal and was resurrected as Spawn, a hell spawn with supernatural powers bound to the forces of hell. Now, trapped between his lost humanity and his demonic purpose, Spawn enters the Mortal Kombat tournament, ready to unleash hell on anyone who stands in his way.
Sindel begins as a revenant, serving forces tied to Kronika, but is eventually resurrected and drawn into the conflict surrounding the Hourglass and the struggle for control of Outworld. After reuniting with allies like Nightwolf and Fujin, she assists in the search for Kronika's crown while battling threats such as Cetrion, and later returns to Outworld under the guise of supporting Kitana. In truth, Sindel secretly conspires with Shao Kahn and turns against Kitana, revealing her own ruthless history and helping overthrow rival forces, including Jade, Kung Lao, and Liu Kang. Eventually, during the final battle for the Hourglass, Sindel and Shao Kahn are betrayed by Shang Tsung, who absorbs their souls and defeats them.
After Kronika's timequake shattered reality, Sub-Zero discovered the Cyber Lin Kuei had returned, with Frost leading a new cyborg army alongside cyberized Sector and Cyrax. Teaming with Scorpion, he stormed the rebuilt Cyber Lin Kuei factory, defeated Frost, Cyrax, and even Noob Saibot before finally taking down Sector for good. Sub-Zero then welcomed the freed Cyrax back into the Lin Kuei, promising that no matter his cybernetic form, his soul still made him family. Later, during the final battle against Kronika, Sub-Zero fought beside Earthrealm's last defenders and witnessed Liu Kang ascend into the powerful fire god Liu Kang before time itself was reset.
Unpredictable, violent, and completely unhinged, the Joker is chaos in human form. As Batman's most dangerous enemy, he's left a brutal trail of destruction, killing Jason Todd, crippling Batgirl, and terrorizing Gotham with countless acts of madness. But now, the Clown Prince of Crime has stepped into an entirely new arena. In Mortal Kombat, Joker brings his twisted humor and deadly tricks into the fight, proving that even among warriors and gods, chaos always finds a way to win.
In Mortal Kombat 11, Kitana is pulled through collapsing timelines after Kronika's manipulation reshapes history itself. Once corrupted by Shinnok's influence and caught in Earthrealm's invasion, she is later brought into the present and forced to navigate shifting alliances across Outworld's civil war. Fighting alongside Liu Kang, Jade, and Kotal Khan, Kitana rises from deception and imprisonment to become a key leader against Shao Kahn's forces. With the aid of Baraka, Shiva, and Outworld's fractured armies, she ultimately defeats Shao Kahn and is crowned Kitana Khan, uniting Outworld under her rule. But victory is unstable. Kronika's time rewinds, revenant versions of her allies emerge, and even her closest bonds fracture under manipulation. In the final conflict, Kitana is overpowered during Sindel's betrayal, leaving her fate uncertain as timelines continue to collapse around her.
In Mortal Kombat 11, Cabal's story is a loop of betrayal, manipulation, and brutal conflict across fractured timelines. During the Netherrealm assault on Shinnok's cathedral, he briefly serves the Dark Forces before being defeated by Cassie Cage and the Special Forces. When Kronika rewrites history, a past version of Cabal, still loyal to the Black Dragon, joins ambushes on Earthrealm, helping capture Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade. Deceived by Kano with false claims about his future suffering, Cabal strikes Sonya in a misguided attempt at revenge, only to be beaten down. As a revenant, he resurfaces again and again, attacking Jacqui Briggs and Jax alongside Jade, but is repeatedly defeated, notably by Fujin. With each reset of time, Cabal's fate grows more uncertain as Kronika's war escalates.
Johnny Cage's story takes a brutal turn after Shinnok's defeat. Just as he rebuilds his relationship with Sonya and watches Cassie rise through the ranks, everything falls apart. Sonya sacrifices herself during a mission to the Netherrealm, leaving Johnny to comfort their grieving daughter. Then, time itself shatters. When Kronika rewrites history, Johnny comes face to face with his younger, cocky self and absolutely can't stand him. But when enemies attack, both versions of Cage are forced to fight side by side, proving how much he's grown from selfish actor to protective father. Even after being wounded and losing everything, Johnny keeps pushing forward, driven by family, redemption, and the chance to make things right in a broken timeline. After the fall of Shinnok, tragedy hit Jax Briggs hard. His wife, Vera, died, leaving him broken and withdrawn, while his daughter, Jacqui Briggs, carried on in Special Forces. That's when the time-bending titan Kronika stepped in, offering Jax a rewritten future where Jacqui never joins the military. During the Timequake, a younger Jax meets his future daughter and ends up fighting his own older self who's working for Kronika. After intense battles against Revenants and even Noob Saibot, Jax learns the truth. Kronika is manipulating him. In the end, Jax rejects her control, reunites with Jacqui, and joins Earthrealm's forces to make things right. Even after everything, loss, betrayal, and time itself breaking, Jax chooses family over destiny.
Jade becomes one of the key warriors fighting to protect Outworld during Kronika's war across time. After being pulled into the present timeline, the younger Jade reunites with Kotal Khan and helps battle threats ranging from Devora and Collector to Shao Kahn himself.
When Kotal nearly executes the Tarkatans out of vengeance, Jade steps in and defeats him to stop the massacre, proving her loyalty to justice over blind obedience. But both are later captured by Shao Kahn, with Jade nearly drained dry by Skarmory before being rescued by Kitana, Liu Kang, and Kung Lao. As timelines collide, Revenant Jade repeatedly returns as one of Kronika's servants, ambushing heroes across the Netherrealm and Shang Tsung's island. In the final battle surrounding the Hourglass, Jade fights beside Earthrealm and Outworld's united forces, before ultimately meeting a tragic end at Sindel's hands during the assault on Kronika's keep.
When Mortal Kombat 11 rebooted the timeline, one of the biggest wildcards was Kano. After Kronika pulled fighters from the past into the present, a younger Kano teamed up with his future self and the Black Dragon clan to help rebuild the Cyberlin Quay. The two Kanos attacked Special Forces bases, kidnapped younger versions of Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade, and even manipulated Cabal into joining them. But everything backfired in Russia during a final standoff with Sonya. Kano threatened to kill young Johnny Cage, knowing it would erase Cassie Cage from existence. Realizing the loophole, Sonya instantly shot the younger Kano in the head, causing the present-day Kano to fade out of existence right in front of everyone.
Erron Black becomes one of the deadliest gunslingers caught in Kronika's fractured timeline war. When the Timequake hits Outworld, a younger Erron Black from the past arrives and immediately sides with Shao Kahn, while his present-day counterpart remains loyal to Kotal Khan. The two versions of Erron eventually clash inside the Colosseum as Outworld descends into chaos. Past Erron later joins Kano and the Black Dragon in attacks against the Special Forces, even shooting Johnny Cage during a brutal Fight Club ambush before being stopped by Sonya Blade. Meanwhile, the present Erron fights beside Kitana's united Outworld army during the battle against Shao Kahn. Even in the Aftermath storyline, Erron continues serving Outworld, leading Tarkatan warriors against Shang Tsung, Fujin, and Nightwolf. Across every timeline, Erron Black proves he'll always side with the strongest force standing.
Jacqui Briggs has risen to Sergeant after Cassie Cage defeats Shinnok, joining Raiden and the Special Forces in a desperate assault on the Netherrealm, one that comes at the cost of Sonya Blade's life. When time itself fractures, Jacqui is thrown into a chaotic conflict involving younger versions of her parents and allies, while Dark Raiden is erased from existence. During the temporal collapse, Jacqui fights alongside a younger Jax as they battle revenants, assassins, and shadowy threats across abandoned temples and cursed realms. Their mission leads them to Kronika's crown, but betrayal strikes when an older Jax appears, revealing he has aligned with Kronika to rewrite time and prevent his daughter's painful future. Forced into an impossible standoff between past and future, Jacqui becomes the emotional center of a broken timeline, ultimately surviving a deadly sacrifice play by Cetrion. With the crown secured and alliances shifting once more, she joins a massive coalition of warriors from Earthrealm, Outworld, and beyond in a final assault on Kronika's keep, only for the outcome of the war and her fate to remain uncertain as chaos consumes the battlefield.
D'Vorah aligns herself with Kronika after being promised the survival of her hive. Acting as one of Kronika's deadliest agents, she battles Kotal Khan and Jade, tortures the ferryman Kuran to cripple Earthrealm's movement across the Sea of Blood, and spreads chaos throughout the realms. Her most infamous moment comes when she ambushes Scorpion with a lethal poison, nearly killing him before the younger Scorpion turns against Kronika and slices off D'Vorah's pincers. Badly wounded but still alive, the insectoid assassin escapes underground, disappearing before the final assault on Kronika's keep. Even in defeat, D'Vorah proves why she remains one of Mortal Kombat's most feared survivors.
Fujin returns alongside Shang Tsung and Nightwolf after escaping the Void following the defeat of Kronika by fire god Liu Kang. They are tasked with recovering Kronika's crown from an earlier point in time, navigating shifting alliances and conflicts involving forces like Cetrion, Revenant warriors, and Outworld's political turmoil under Kitana. Throughout their mission, Fujin helps orchestrate key battles, including confronting Noob Cyborg and resisting interference from Earthrealm and Outworld forces while reluctantly working alongside Shang Tsung, despite mistrust of his intentions. After securing the crown and aiding in the defeat of Cetrion, Fujin becomes entangled in Shang Tsung's ultimate betrayal during the struggle for the Hourglass, leaving his final fate uncertain depending on which timeline prevails.
Garrus is Kronika's immortal enforcer, a powerful construct designed to serve as a fixed point in time,
who can regenerate from virtually any injury or death. Throughout the events of Mortal Kombat 11, he repeatedly battles heroes such as Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Cassie Cage, and Raiden, surviving decapitation, explosions, and other seemingly fatal defeats. Despite his immortality, Garrus is ultimately overpowered during the Aftermath storyline, first being cast into the Chaos Realm and later brutally defeated by Shao Kahn and Sindel. Although his fate remained uncertain after Kronika's fall, Garrus was eventually recreated by Liu Kang in the new era, where he became a trusted guardian of the timeline rather than its enemy.
Terminator T-800 is a cybernetic assassin sent back in time from a devastated, machine-dominated future. Built for combat and infiltration, the T-800 possesses immense strength, advanced artificial intelligence, and sophisticated weapon and combat systems that make it one of the deadliest killing machines ever created. Its nearly indestructible endoskeleton and relentless determination allow it to overcome overwhelming odds in pursuit of its mission, making it a formidable opponent in any universe it enters.
Cetrion is one of the Elder Gods in Mortal Kombat 11 who becomes deeply involved in Kronika's plan to reshape time and create a new era. Initially appearing in a ghost-like form alongside other Elder Gods while advising Raiden about the timeline anomaly, she later defects to support her mother, Kronika, even actively working to secure the Soul Crown by confronting fighters like Jaqui Briggs and Jax Briggs. As the conflict escalates, Cetrion faces Liu Kang at the Hourglass and ultimately sacrifices her essence to empower Kronika. In the Aftermath events, she continues serving her mother's agenda, briefly battling forces such as Nightwolf and Sindel before her essence is ultimately absorbed by Kronika in a final attempt to secure victory over the timeline.
After defeating Shinnok, Cassie Cage is promoted to commander and leads an assault on the Netherrealm, taking down revenants like Kitana and Cabal along the way. But victory comes at a cost when her mother, Sonya Blade, sacrifices herself to destroy a Netherrealm temple, ordering Cassie to escape. As time fractures under Kronika's power, past versions of Earthrealm's heroes appear, forcing Cassie to relive her loss and defend her choices. She leads special forces against threats like the Cyber Initiative, Kano, and the unstoppable Garrus. With reality collapsing, Cassie joins forces with warriors across timelines for a final assault on Kronika's keep. But even that battle spirals out of control. In the aftermath, Cassie, Sonya, and Johnny Cage are captured, leaving their fate uncertain.
Baraka's story in Mortal Kombat 11 kicks off when Kronika pulls a past version of him into the present timeline. Thrown into a future he doesn't understand, Baraka learns his older self is already dead, pushing him deeper into Kronika's promise of a rewritten destiny. After clashing with Kotal Khan and nearly losing everything, Baraka gets an unexpected second chance when Kitana offers redemption for him and the Tarkatans. He switches sides, helping her rise to power and fighting in the final assault against Kronika. In the aftermath, Baraka remains fiercely loyal, but when he crosses paths with Shang Tsung in disguise, things explode fast. A deadly misunderstanding leads to bloodshed, rage, and yet another brutal defeat, proving Baraka's story is all about survival, loyalty, and constant war.